Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caesar Plays, and as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be talking about the Netflix live action One Piece Season 2. If you've watched my video on the first season, then you can tell, you would know that I am a fan of what they're doing with One Piece here in a live action format. I feel like it works very, very well. I was very so happily surprised at how good it actually worked out. The actors did a great job. The story was well paced, and they did a good job in telling the story, the One Piece story, in its own style, without having to just copy paste what the manga or the anime already did. They did something, I think I spoke about it before. They did something similar to what Scott Pilgrim versus the World, by the way, one of my favorite movies of all time, did. In that Edgar Wright managed to direct a movie and put a movie together based on 6 volumes into a movie of 1 hour and a half. I'm gonna say that a lot throughout all these videos because I just love that movie so much. And this live action has the same duties to fill. They have the requirements to tell as much as they can about the story in a condensed manner without messing up the lore and without pissing off fans. Season 1 I felt was great. Season 2 really, really good too. I feel, I'm not sure because I can't remember my deep down emotions about season 1. It's been a minute, but I don't really know. I can't tell if I love season 2 more than season 1, but season 2 does have one of my favorite arcs in the early One Piece series though. So without saying too much more about it, there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to try and see if I can get through this. But first of all, actors still amazing. All the casting was still really, really well done. I feel like Alvida's character, like props to her for the transformation that she went through. Buggy stole the show again in Loguetown. I really, really like Tashigi's actress too. Like she does such a great job as well. For that first episode in Loguetown, it was interesting to see Bartolomeo as well put in canonically into the story because technically he was there. We just got his reveal way, way later. But again, if you know the One Piece lore, then you know that he was a character that was introduced way later, and it was made canon that he was technically in Loguetown well when Luffy got executed, so to say. Now, I felt that I just got a little bit confused because, mind you, I love Bartolomeo. I just felt like really confused with how what his arc was in this episode, other than an introduction and an establishment of like that he became a fan of Luffy's. I feel like that could have easily been just told in the future, but so that's a minor gripe that I had. I still feel like it was fun to see him and see, okay, this is gonna be his live action person. I also will say that his laugh at the end while looking at the mirror and replicating Luffy was great. Again, I was just confused about his arc in this episode. That's all. No, there's no bypassing it. That Smoker's casting was excellent. I feel like he plays off the actor does a great job in just playing off like the man, gotta do my job and I really hate pirates. That kind of feeling. Dragon looked intimidating and good. What I wanted from him. Again, casting all around super, super great. I was a little bit let down by Luffy's execution, and I just don't know if I feel that way because I knew what was gonna happen, or because I feel like there wasn't much tension in the scene, and Luffy's no no I'm not trying to badmouth the actor. I'm just saying that the that laugh felt very forced, and it felt very, like in the anime and the manga, it felt very careless and very optimistic. And here is just I just the to me, like when it was about to happen, the laugh and the smile felt just kind of like we got to put this in there because this is what happened. Um, Again, not to badmouth the actor because he does a phenomenal job later on in a further episode I'll talk about, um, but Yeah, aside from that, like the first episode after being back after so long, that was it was really really fun. Like, you're gonna also hear on my end that I'm gonna skip a lot of actors' names, actor and actresses' name. Just I'm sorry, just don't have the time to look up into them, every single one of them, and say them. I'm trying to do this as condensed as possible. This review, just because I feel like I'm gonna talk hours about this again. Now, for me, the Crocus and Laboon episodes or arc was the one I was the most mixed about. I felt very mixed that it felt like the slowest for me among the series, among the whole season. Not that I didn't like the characters or the acting. I feel like they all did a great job as well, but I just didn't care enough. I like the Laboon concept and the story, and I love how we got Brooks introduced. Hold on, I wrote it out here. How did I describe him? We got pre-time skip live action Brook over here. If you know, you know. And the Lombard Pirates, I believe that's what they were called. They were portrayed very interestingly. The captain looked great. He looked like in the straight out of like the manga and the anime. Um, Crocus himself was played really really well. And the ending, obviously, just Luffy like painting the Jolly Roger on him on her. I forgot what the boon was. It was good. It was fine for what it was. I just felt that it was if it dragged a little bit for me. Mr. Nine was honestly surprisingly really fun because I don't recall too much from him in the series, like the manga or the or the an anime. Like, but here, like the live action solidified his character in my memory now, because I feel like the actor did an excellent job in just the tone, the way he spoke, the way he acted. I think it was very well executed, and fun as well. I gotta love as well. I gotta say, I love how quirky Tashigi is in this show, because I love her in the series already, and her live action actress did an excellent job when she's basically telling Smoker that no, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna do what I want to do too. I gotta follow my gut feeling, and Smoker agrees to it, and he's walking away, and she does a little dance. I just started laughing so hard. Um, because I don't believe so that she is shown like this in the manga or the anime, but I love that they added this to her character in the live action. It works. That's what I mean. Also, I just started rewatching. I just finished rewatching Sabaody and Archipelago. Sabaody Archipelago, the arc in the anime, because I just felt like rewatching it for some reason, and it's fun to know to foreshadow Crocus's connection to Roger in the live action, because we actually get told that he was his doctor way later. We get this told with Rayleigh, if you know, you know. So, um, so yeah, um, so it's nice to just stab, kind of not directly. It's a show don't tell kind of thing. Like, hey, see this? Does this catch your attention? You figure it out. That kind of thing. Whiskey Peak stood out for me. Whiskey Peak, I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I did. I knew what was gonna happen. Again, I read the manga, I watched the anime, um, and I will say that just the fighting that happened in this little arc, it was super super fun. I felt like that the core, the backdrops and everything, all was super interesting and really well put together as well. Like, Miss Valentine, Mr. Five looked great, straight out of like Oda's imagination. Um, the Igaran was super fun. I wrote down too. Vivi was okay. First of all, let's my stance on Vivi. Vivi was amazingly cast. Um, Skin color, bro, just accept that this is it makes sense for her to look where for this is where she would come from. It makes sense. Like, I'm really flabbergasted as to the amount of people that have such an issue with her, like saying, oh, they're they're race swapping her, and like no, like just she the actors did a great job too. Like that's why I'm not upset too. Like and if from the very beginning, like years ago, if you would have told me like Vivi's gonna be portrayed this way, I would have had no issues because it makes sense for her character from where she is. And if you have a problem with it, well, this is how it's being done, and yeah, live with it. Also, Vivi's was great. I mean, she was absolutely beautiful in this series. I was actually texting a friend of mine like while watching the season, like, yo, her actress is doing a great job. Like she's beautiful, as she should be. I was kind of getting hypnotized myself from her dance in the show too. The same face Luffy was making. Mind you, that part was really well put together. Like around with the mute with the saxophone, like that was a fun sequence for more than one reason. Um, Mac and Ryu's fights were all good. Again, Zoro is the beast; he's the greatest. Um, I know I already spoke about Miss Valentine and Mr. Five, but Mr. Five was they both felt very intimidating as well, which is what was very needed for these for their personalities. And Miss Valentine's was such a bitch, like, and in a good way. Like she did it so well. Um, the little garden arc also super fun. I love how well Dory and Brogy worked as giants here. It felt very good. It was well done. Like their voices felt deeper, stronger, rougher, as it should. Like they looked super good as giants. It worked well with like the regular sized people compared to the giants. um I also need to talk about Mr. Tree, David Dasmalian. Like we were told when the casting happened that he was gonna play Mr. Tree. I'm a fan of his works because I was I was so stoked when he was like in the Ant-Man movies, and to know that he was one of like the side characters in The Dark Knight, one of the best Christopher Nolan Batman movies in my opinion. As a minor character there, like it's fun to see his progression as an actor as well, and that he's open to these kind of roles. And I think he played Mr. Tree very very well. I'm curious as to see how that's gonna go down the line, especially because if you know, you know, I put a lot of those in between because I don't want to spoil anyone for anything anything for anybody who's just watching this live action, not going to read the manga or the and the anime. But that aside, I know there were complaints about how the fight between Mr. Tree and Luffy was handled, and I kind of agree with that, with the criticism around it. I do feel like Luffy it should have been an easier fight for Luffy. I think he definitely just weakened him just for tension's purpose, but it was fine. Um, Miss Golden Week, it was kind of weird not to see an actual child, although I don't remember in the manga or the anime if she was a child back then. But her appearance in the original source felt like she was a child, and I feel like it felt a little off at first, or maybe my head, because I told myself that she was a kid, that's what I thought she was, like a kid assassin. So if and I feel like they could have, if that was the case, and maybe I'm wrong, if that was the case, then they could have used a kid actor in my opinion. But other than that, she acted very well. She was very very scary in this season. um Going back to Luffy's actor, um and my criticism about his forced laugh in that first episode is in pure contrast to like this episode where he's just acted his ass out. Like there was a moment where he's getting put all these colors that are giving him mixed emotions, and Miss Golden Week is telling him like what's gonna happen to his Nakamas, and he's like angrily breaking down. It was such a good scene. Gotta love the introduction to Crocodile via the phone. I'll talk more about him later, but Sanji on the phone talking to Crocodile, like the way it was handled with like the shadows, and it was all so good. Sanji versus the Unluckies was hilarious, and I love everything about it. Um, it's a very well-known used camera angle as well to have like the foreground a subject that is kind of either making music or creating some noise or talking or something, while in the background things are happening and they're either super exaggerated or super funny. And this is a very well-known filming technique. I don't know why I feel like bringing that up, but that's basically what they did with this fight between Sanji and the idea of just an otter just fucking shit up is just hilarious to me. An otter in like a jumpsuit. um I was a little upset that when Mr. Tree was putting Vivi, Zoro, and Nami and like the wax kick statue, the Zoro didn't get the line that I wanted him to say, and that is when they were about to fully get waxed on, I guess. Um, and he does the pose. Nami asks him, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, because in the manga and the anime, he says." Because if I'm gonna be frozen in a as a statue, I want to look cool or something like that. We didn't get that, but we got the pose at least. So at least there's some form of sticking to the source material. Um, After the little garden arc, which was again in my opinion very fun, Drum Island. Now this is the arc that I feel is my personal favorite arc in the early One Piece, just because I genuinely love Tony Chopper so much, and I feel like this is my favorite part of the season as well, and it was a strong way to end the season. Also, when seeing Chopper, which I'll go into that a little bit more, when seeing Chopper, like you could see, like you could feel like Netflix money just flying away. um, but that aside, Wapple, he worked really well too. Like he was, and again, I use the word intimidating a lot because I'm trying to keep it simple. It's just you guys get my point across. But he was very intimidating with the flashback, with his look. Even though his look, you could consider it being goofy. Like he felt like a problem, which he is. He has a good devil fruit ability. So, um, Miss Thursday, um, we see Miss Thursday fight in a background little side story between for her versus Smolder, and it's fun for me to know that because Oda is working close with Netflix, it's fun for me to know that now if there are ideas that Oda wanted to do originally with a story that he couldn't have done or was too late to do in his original manga slash anime, now he has the opportunity to kind of just throw them in here in the live action because the live action is following the story in its base form, but not strictly. It is morphing the story to be a little bit more condensed, which gives which gives the directors to a little bit more flexibility. If not, it makes it harder for them, but it gives them also a little bit more flexibility to throw things in that Oda originally wanted to do. Like Miss Thursday, again, this was a concept art from my understanding, or an idea that didn't make the cut in the official story, but Oda had it there. He had a concept art of Miss Thursday originally drawn out, and we were able to apply that to the show. Same with Mr. 11, if I'm not mistaken. The Tashigi versus Mr. 11 fight for that little bit that we got was super fun too, in my opinion. Dalton, again, great casting, looked great. His Bison form looked good, but I feel like the anime and the manga version looked better, in my opinion. But again, it probably was a little weird to translate the same way that Chopper's human form was a little weird to translate and is now well received by everybody. I didn't mind it. I understand, but that's because I also understand how difficult it is to translate that. The same with Dalton's Zoan form. I think the Bison form was hard to translate into a live action, but they still made it work. Dr. Kura, Great casting again. I'm throwing this out there so much because this whole casting is also so good. Um, Laugh was absolutely great. Um, hold up. Uh, um, but yeah, no. The casting was so great. Her laugh, the way she got implemented to the story. It was. I don't. I would have put her up there as like up there to like stealing the show almost this season. However, and this is why I had to pause for a little bit earlier because I forgot to double check this. However, Doctor Hiriluk is, in my opinion, like last season we had season one, Buggy stole the show that season. This season, Doctor Hiriluk, aka his actor, I had to look him up right now. Mark Haralick was just the the best. He played his character so well. He got me so involved, and for me, it's like special because, like I said, it's my favorite arc of the early One Piece series. So it was for me extra special to see it done so well in live action. And Mark Harrick just draws out your emotion. You can see like the somewhat innocent, somewhat playful, somewhat seriousness in his character in this season, and the caring behind him, and everything from the way his eyes look to his tone. It to me, he just absolutely nailed this season. He just for this for these 2 episodes or 3 episodes that he got, he just absolutely killed it. Um, Nonetheless, like part of it has to do with his dialogue and the way the story was written, and Chopper's background to me is like super sad as well. Not as sad as some of the stuff we're gonna get in the future, but it's a very messed up past as well for like a reindeer that ate a human. um I think it was a human fruit, and has to deal with people seeing him as like a devil, as a monster. um so that aside, I also have to give a bunch of props, a huge ton of props to Michaela Hoover, who voices Chopper, and because I love Chopper so much, he's the little pet, like the little thing you want to protect, the Anya to Spy X Family. Yes, I say Spy X Family. It's the little person you want to protect, and Chopper is like the little brother that that's part of the group, and I feel like Michaela, like she voiced him in an excellent manner. There's like this little nervous tone that he has, and this little, I don't want to say stutter, but little pauses in his speech that show the fact that he doesn't have confidence, and it looked so well that he's is care his live action form. I like them a lot. I love how it was portrayed, especially towards the end when they're in the boat and they're all like kind of partying and he's doing his little dance, which was super cute. His introduction in the teaser before the season came out was great. Like I love this. I love Chopper so much. And again, thank you, Michaela Hoover, for doing such an amazing job. The voice acting him, because you nailed it. You killed it out. You did everything. But um, that aside, the ending of it is obviously super emotional. The Drum Island arc, uh, the cherry blossom and falling from the skies, the fake cherry blossoms falling from the sky, and Chopper crying, and you get the little moment where Zoro picks him up. Um, Plus, you get the little teaser of Kurihai talking about like, oh, like Gold Roger. Is that what he goes? You mean Goldie Roger, right? And Will of D will live on. That's something currently relevant in the story. So it was good to get all that foreshadowing, because they can it's something Oda would do very much. It's something that Oda would if he never made One Piece and he just made a live action show, he would be sprinkling these little foreshadowings early on in his series before you get the actual payoff towards later in the end, because that's what he did with the actual One Piece. A lot of the stuff that you may have forgotten from early in the manga actually ended up becoming super relevant now in the story. So all that aside, I will say that at the end, very very end, where we get the reveal of Crocodile, aka Joe Manganiello, uh, whose name I have to pronounce and bring out for personal reason, which I'll talk about in a bit. Um, he just looks so much apart. I'm not sure if I spoke about Nico Robin yet. Did I? I hope I did early on. That's one of my first notes. But Nico Robin was just perfectly cast as well. If I haven't spoken about her earlier, and if I did, then I'm talking about her again because she looks great and her character is very well done by the actress as well. Crocodile, I'm super curious about him simply because I actually got the opportunity to meet the actor one time. Uh, I was serving in I was a server in this one area. Was it a server or a manager? Maybe I think it was a manager already of the restaurant, but I and that he was actually visiting. He was in town with some other actors, and I got to talk to him and tell him that I was a fan because he also starred in Spider-Man One, the Sam Raimi one, and yeah, he was also Deathstroke in the Zack Snyder DC universe. So it was nice to see him and be like, and I got the picture too right over here to be like, oh, it's you, um, and I give him all the props. He was a super cool guy, so it's nice to see him play such a big character because Crocodile is not one that just comes and goes. He's not just a one-time villain. I think, well, kind of like as a villain, I guess you can say, but he's not a one-time character. He's gonna come more often in the future. Pause. Um, but that aside, as I'm sure you can tell from this whole my whole reaction to this season that I genuinely loved it. I feel like there's little things. I feel like there were little parts in certain fight scenes that could have been maybe worked out a little bit differently. But overall, like I had a blast. Like it was. I was tearing up towards the ending, the last Drum Island arc. I just really, really, I'm happy that it was well executed because to me that was a very specific time in One Piece that I already liked Zoro. I remember reading the manga. I already liked Soros a lot, but that was the Drum Island arc was the arc that made it clear to me like I genuinely love this series now, and I want to buy volumes of this series from now on, which I didn't really commit to, but I bought the Drum Island arc was the first volume that I bought actually from One Piece. So, yeah. So that being said, it's already been 30 minutes again. Wow. That being said, please tell me what you guys thought of the season 2 of the One Piece live action. I just genuinely had a great time with it. Tell me what your favorite parts of the show were, your favorite characters. If I missed anything, which I probably did, any specific or important parts that you felt that I missed out on, and you want to remind me, the comment down below. Hit the like button down, please, if you like this video. Subscribe would mean the world to me as well, just because I'm trying to build up the audience again and I'm trying to build up this YouTube thing again. I hope to, so hopefully in the summer, get back to live streaming as well on Twitch. But other than that, please, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful week, or a wonderful weekend, whenever it is that you're watching this. And have a wonderful day, and bye.